Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the most shocking, heart-stopping twists of your favorite daytime dramas. Today is a thrilling day to unpack the latest explosive developments sweeping through Los Angeles, as a dark and sinister cloud has descended upon the Spencer family, changing the landscape of their lives forever. The neon lights of the Bikini Bar have witnessed countless celebrations, romantic encounters, and bitter rivalries, but they have never served as the backdrop for a nightmare quite like this. Will Spencer, the young heir to the Spencer publishing empire, was already a man standing on the precipice of an emotional abyss. Following the catastrophic implosion of his relationship with Electra Forrester, the violent brawl with R.J. Forrester, and the accidental punch that left family patriarch Eric Forrester severely injured, Will had spiraled into a deep, agonizing depression. He sought solace at the bottom of a glass, hoping the alcohol would numb the crushing guilt and the agonizing sting of Electra's final, permanent rejection. But that fateful, drunken night at the Bikini Bar did not end with a simple hangover. It ended in a chilling, inexplicable disappearance that has sent shock waves through the entire city of Los Angeles. The morning after his binge, the only trace left of Will Spencer was his violently smashed smartphone, discarded like a piece of worthless trash in a dark, damp alleyway behind the bar. The shattered screen and the ominous silence that followed immediately signaled that this was no ordinary bender. When Will failed to return to the beach house, and when his calls went straight to a deadline, a visceral, suffocating panic began to take hold of his family. The transition from a troubled young man blowing off steam to a full-blown missing persons case happened with terrifying speed, leaving the Spencer family scrambling for answers in a void of terrifying uncertainty. Katie Logan, a mother who has already endured unimaginable heartache and corporate warfare, was the first to feel the icy grip of true maternal terror. The instinctual bond between a mother and her child screamed that something was catastrophically wrong. Katie's previous fears about Will's aggressive temper and his involvement in the toxic Forrester-Spencer feud evaporated instantly, replaced by a paralyzing, breathless fear for his physical safety. Every passing hour without a word from her son felt like a physical blow, driving Katie to the absolute brink of emotional collapse as she frantically coordinated with the authorities, her tear-stained face a testament to a mother's worst nightmare unfolding in real time. Beside her, Bill Spencer underwent a terrifying transformation. The ruthless, calculating corporate titan known as Dollar Bill cracked, revealing a desperate, terrified father who suddenly realized that all his immense wealth and power might be useless in bringing his son home. Bill immediately mobilized his vast network of private security, deploying every resource at his disposal to scour the streets of Los Angeles. The irony of the situation weighed heavily on his shoulders. Just days prior, he had advised Will to embrace the Spencer ruthlessness, to view his deception of Electra as just business. Now, Bill was forced to confront the horrifying possibility that the very ruthless world he had built might have swallowed his youngest son whole. As the frantic search intensified, a surprising figure stepped into the center of the tragedy, commanding the spotlight with an Oscar-worthy performance: Melissa Dillon. The ambitious assistant, who had recently engaged in a calculated romantic pursuit of the vulnerable Will, presented herself as the ultimate grieving, terrified romantic interest. Dillon arrived at the Spencer mansion and the local police precinct with perfectly timed tears streaming down her face, her voice trembling as she recounted her deep, profound connection with Will. She portrayed herself as the most heartbroken of them all, a woman whose budding romance had been cruelly snatched away by a mysterious tragedy. Dillon's public performance was nothing short of a masterclass in psychological manipulation. She seamlessly inserted herself into the very heart of the investigation, volunteering to assist the police, offering to organize search parties, and providing emotional support to the devastated Spencer family. By positioning herself as the last person to be intimately close to Will, she gained unparalleled access to the ongoing investigation, ensuring she was privy to every lead, every suspicion, and every move the authorities made. Her good girl facade, previously cracked by rumors of her being a gold-digging social climber, was completely restored in the eyes of the public, replaced by the image of a devoted, tragic heroine. Even the usually observant Wyatt Spencer was completely blinded by Dylan's flawless deception. Wyatt, who had previously warned Will about the dangers of getting involved with Dylan and the toxic nature of Spencer Forrester romances, found himself entirely fooled by her crocodile tears. Consumed by his own crushing guilt for yelling at Will and bluntly telling him to get over Elektra just hours before his disappearance, Wyatt embraced Dylan as a fellow grieving loved one. He allowed her into his inner circle, sharing confidential updates about Bill's private security efforts, completely unaware that he was handing vital intelligence directly to the architect of his brother's demise. The horrifying truth, hidden from the desperate eyes of the Spencer family and the LAPD, lay buried deep beneath the surface of the city, miles away from the glitz and glamour of the Forrester fashion runways and the towering Spencer Publications building. The camera of this unfolding drama pans down into a dark, damp, and suffocatingly silent secret basement. This hidden dungeon, concealed beneath the rotting floorboards of an abandoned, dilapidated house from Dylan's childhood, holds the darkest secret in Los Angeles. It is here, in this subterranean nightmare, that the true fate of Will Spencer is finally revealed to the audience in a sequence that chills the blood. Will Spencer awakens in this labyrinth in darkness, his mind clouded by a heavy, chemical fog. The lingering effects of a powerful sedative course through his veins, rendering his usually strong, athletic body weak and uncoordinated. As his vision slowly adjusts to the flickering, harsh light of a single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling, the terrifying reality of his situation sets in. He is not recovering from a drunken brawl. He is bound by heavy, cold metal chains, effectively imprisoned in a makeshift cell. The metallic clink of the chains echoes against the concrete walls, a grim confirmation that he is the victim of a highly calculated, malicious kidnapping. Out of the suffocating shadows steps Melissa Dillon, but the sweet, supportive, and desperate woman she plays for the cameras is entirely gone. In the dim light of the basement, her mask drops completely, revealing a cold, calculating, and sadistically vengeful predator. The sweet smile is replaced by a chilling, dead-eyed smirk. Dylan stands before the chained Spencer heir, dropping the bombshell that shatters everything Will thought he knew about her. She was never just a gold digger looking for a wealthy husband. She was an avenging angel, a woman consumed by a deep-seated, burning vendetta that has been festering for years. The chilling exposition of Dylan's true motive traces back to the darkest chapters of Dollar Bill Spencer's ruthless corporate history. Dylan reveals the catastrophic damage Bill inflicted upon her family years ago. In one of his signature, merciless hostile takeovers, Bill Spencer had systematically bankrupted Dylan's father, stripping her family of their business, their wealth, and ultimately, their dignity. The financial ruin led to the absolute destruction of her family unit, leaving a young Melissa to navigate a world of poverty and profound loss. Every tear she shed, every hardship she endured, was directly tied to the ruthless greed of the Spencer patriarch. Dylan's infiltration of the Los Angeles elite was a long con, orchestrated with terrifying precision. She had carefully crafted her identity, securing a job at Forrester Creations to get close to the families that ruled the city. She played the innocent assistant, manipulated R.J. Forrester, and patiently waited for the perfect opportunity to strike at the heart of the Spencer empire. When Will became isolated, vulnerable, and consumed by his heartbreak over Elektra, Dylan saw her opening. She didn't just want to marry into the Spencer wealth. She wanted to tear the family apart from the inside out, making Bill Spencer feel the exact same paralyzing helplessness that her father had felt all those years ago. Trapped in the damp, freezing basement, Will is forced to endure grueling psychological torture. Dylan taunts him mercilessly, breaking down his spirit by detailing exactly how she fooled his entire family. She takes a sick pleasure in explaining how his father and brother are currently comforting her, thanking her for her help, while she secretly holds his life in her hands. The drugs she administers keep Will in a constant state of physical weakness, preventing him from using his strength to escape. In his darkest moments, Will's mind drifts to Elektra, consumed by the crushing realization that his family's toxic legacy of lies and ruthlessness is the very thing that led him into this deadly trap. The nightmare escalates drastically when the Spencer mansion receives the first of a series of anonymous, highly malicious extortion demands. These are not standard ransom notes asking for a simple wire transfer. They are meticulously crafted instruments of psychological warfare. The demands require Bill to publicly humiliate himself, to dismantle key components of his business empire, and to pay exorbitant sums of money, all while taunting him with vague, terrifying hints about Will's physical condition. The notes are designed to inflict maximum emotional pain, slowly breaking the indomitable dollar bill down into a hollow, desperate shell of a man. The impact of these extortion demands on the Spencer family is cataclysmic. Bill is consumed by a blinding, impotent rage, tearing his office apart as he realizes that his past sins have finally caught up with him in the most horrific, unimaginable way. The karma of his ruthless business practices has manifested in the form of a faceless enemy who holds his son's life in the balance. Katie is pushed to the absolute edge of her sanity, her days consumed by panic attacks and her nights plagued by nightmares of what might be enduring. The tension in the Spencer home is suffocating, a toxic mix of fear, guilt, and desperate hope. The profound irony of the entire situation is a bitter pill for the audience to swallow. For weeks, Ridge Forrester and the rest of the Forrester clan had been loudly warning everyone that Will Spencer was a dangerous, unhinged threat to their family. They had focused all their energy on demonizing Will for his bar brawls and corporate secrets. Yet, the true, lethal danger was the quiet, unassuming assistant standing right beside them the entire time. The Forresters and Spencers were so consumed by their petty fashion wars and historical feuds that they completely missed the apex predator hiding in plain sight, orchestrating a masterclass in deception. Dylan's ability to play both sides of this twisted game is a testament to her sociopathic brilliance. By day, she is the grieving, supportive beacon of hope at the police station, bringing coffee to an exhausted Wyatt and offering a shoulder for Katie to cry on. By night, she descends into the subterranean hell she created, transforming into a sadistic captor who delights in Will's suffering. This dual existence requires a terrifying level of compartmentalization, and as the days turn into weeks, the sheer pressure of maintaining the facade begins to introduce a volatile, unpredictable element to her behavior. The ticking clock echoes loudly in the ears of everyone involved. The physical toll of the captivity, combined with the constant administration of sedatives, is rapidly deteriorating Will's health. He is growing weaker, his hope fading as the cold reality of his subterranean prison sets in. Meanwhile, Dylan's endgame is becoming increasingly erratic. Her God complex, fueled by successfully fooling the LAPD and the most powerful families in Los Angeles, is making her bolder and perhaps more prone to a fatal mistake. How long can she maintain this high-wire act of deception before the mask slips and her true, malevolent nature is exposed to the light of day? The ultimate test has arrived for the Spencer family. This is no longer a battle over fashion lines, corporate mergers, or romantic entanglements. This is a brutal, desperate fight for survival. Will Wyatt's keen investigative instincts finally pierce through Dylan's veil of tears? Will Bill Spencer be forced to sacrifice his entire empire to atone for the sins of his past and save his youngest son? The stakes have never been higher, and as Melissa Dillon tightens her grip on the chained Spencer heir, the entire city of Los Angeles holds its breath, waiting for the explosive, inevitable collision between a father's desperate love and a daughter's insatiable thirst for revenge.